You're not here to perform. You're here to live, wake up from the race. But freedom, real freedom, is not a destination. It's not a lifestyle you can buy or a slogan on a t-shirt. It's a state of mind, a posture, a refusal, and perhaps most importantly, an ongoing discipline. You don't just wake up one day and become free. You practice being free every single day, in your choices, in your silence, in your resistance to what no longer aligns. And sometimes that resistance feels like grief, because the moment you start choosing yourself, you begin to lose the life you built while asleep. The job that validated you, the friendships that depended on your silence, the habits that kept you numb. It all begins to fall away, and it hurts. Letting go of the known always hurts, even when it's killing you slowly. No one talks about that part. They talk about breaking free, as if it's a clean cut, as if liberation is glamorous, as if truth always feels good. But truth, real truth, is raw. It burns. It scrapes off your illusions like skin. It strips you bare and shows you how much of your life wasn't actually yours. And yet, in that moment of collapse, something sacred begins to emerge. Your real self, not the self you performed, not the version of you crafted to win approval, but the one who's been whispering beneath the surface since you were a child, the one who saw through the absurdity of it all long before you had the language to explain it, the one who still remembers how it felt to be fully alive before you were taught to shrink. And when that self rises, something shifts. You stop negotiating with your soul. You stop trying to make the system work for you. You realize it was never built for your liberation, it was built for your obedience. You start to see how deeply embedded the programming really is in your routines, your relationships, even in the way you speak to yourself when you fail. You begin to see the cage inside you. That's the turning point. Because escaping the external system is only half the journey. The harder part is deprogramming your internal prison, the mental loops, the shame, the scarcity, the chronic self. You realize that while you may have walked out of the job didn't walk out of you. The clock still ticks in your head. The need to be productive still haunts your rest. The need to prove your worth still controls your choices. That's what this system does. It colonizes your mind. And reclaiming your mind takes time, patience, brutal honesty. You have to confront the parts of yourself that crave applause, that still believe you need to earn rest, that mistake busyness for meaning. That's the invisible architecture of the race, and it lives within you, even after you've stopped running. But here's the part that might surprise you. When you start to dismantle that architecture, you don't become less. You become more present, more intuitive, more alive. You stop chasing significance and start embodying depth. You realize that peace isn't found in having more but in needing less. That success isn't external validations, it's internal congruence. That real confidence comes not from status, but from alignment. And suddenly, life feels different. Not easier, but truer. You begin to slow down, not out of laziness, but out of reverence. You speak less, but when you do, it matters. You consume less, but you feel more nourished. You no longer need constant stimulation to feel okay. Your presence becomes your power. Your clarity becomes your compass. And your boundaries become sacred, not walls to keep others out, but fences to protect your new soil while it grows. You become rooted. But even then, even after all that, the world keeps spinning. The race doesn't stop just because you did. People will still try to drag you back into it. Back into the drama, the hustle, the urgency, the proving. And if you're not careful, you'll mistake their chaos for your responsibility. You'll start to question your stillness. You'll forget why you left. That's why it's not enough to just wake up once. You have to keep waking up. You have to remind yourself daily, I am not here to perform. I am here to live. That one phrase becomes your anchor when the world tries to pull you back into unconsciousness. It keeps you honest, it keeps you free. And maybe the most beautiful part, you start to meet others on the path. People who are done pretending. People who crave depth over speed, intimacy over image, truth over comfort. These people become your mirror. They remind you who you are when the noise gets loud. They speak a language the race never taught you, one of presence, simplicity, intention. And in their company, you don't have to hustle for love. You don't have to explain your slow pace. You just belong. And that is where healing begins. Because escaping the rat race isn't just about reclaiming your time. It's about reclaiming your humanity, your softness, your joy, your playfulness, your sacred rage. It's about remembering what you loved before the world told you who to be. It's about creating a life where you don't have to escape your own days. A life where your soul doesn't have to apologize for existing. So if anything I've said is stirring something inside you, let it stir, let it burn, let it break, whatever needs breaking. That's not destruction. That's the beginning of liberation. That's what it feels like when a life built on silence finally begins to speak. If this part of the message echoed in you, comment below. I am not here to perform. I am here to live. Let's see how many of us are finally waking up. And if this message echoed something deep within you, don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe. Think with us. And remember, life begins the moment you question it. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next awakening.